We've never been more connected. We can text anyone, video call anyone, follow thousands of people, know what everybody ate for breakfast, and somehow, more people than ever are sitting at home wondering if anyone would notice if they disappear for a while. Today, I want to talk about the weight we don't talk about. Loneliness. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Beyond the Office, where we have real conversations beyond our titles. I'm your host, Gerard. Whether you're listening on your way to work, sitting in traffic, cleaning a house, or at the gym, or just trying to make sense of life, thank you for spending just a little bit of time with me today. If you've been enjoying these conversations, I appreciate if you follow the podcast, share an episode with someone you may think may need this. Because one conversation can change one perspective, and that is worth having. Today's conversation is one that doesn't get enough attention. And it's not depression, it's not anxiety, and it's not burnout. It's loneliness. And here's the crazy part about it. You can be surrounded by people and feel completely alone. We mistake being busy for being connected. When we're kids, we make friends almost by accident. In schools, sports, neighborhood, summer camps, we saw the same people every day. And then adulthood happened. Now everybody's busy. People move away. They get married. They have kids, build careers, take care of aging parents. And before you know it, months go by, and you keep saying, we definitely need to catch up. But you never do. And you realize one day that you really don't have someone that you can just pick up the phone and call when you're having a rough day. Not because people don't love you. Life just happens. And slowly, connection becomes convenience. One thing that I've realized is that loneliness doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it disguises itself as productivity. Now we keep working, and we keep traveling, and we keep accomplishing things, and we keep checking those boxes of our accomplishments. Because staying busy feels easier than asking yourself, who really knows what's going on in my life? Hell, do I even know what's going on in my life? And these questions that we have to ask ourselves, they become uncomfortable. We mistake being busy for being connected. When we're kids, we make friends almost by accident. In schools, sports, neighborhood, summer camps, we saw the same people every day. And then adulthood happened. Now everybody's busy. People move away. They get married. They have kids, build careers, take care of aging parents. And before you know it, months go by, and you keep saying, we definitely need to catch up. But you never do. And you realize one day that you really don't have someone that you can just pick up the phone and call when you're having a rough day. Not because people don't love you. Life just happens. And slowly, connection becomes convenience. One thing that I've realized is that loneliness doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it disguises itself as productivity. Now we keep working, and we keep traveling, and we keep accomplishing things, and we keep checking those boxes of our accomplishments. Because staying busy feels easier than asking yourself, who really knows what's going on in my life? Hell, do I even know what's going on in my life? And these questions that we have to ask ourselves, they become uncomfortable. So then we have to ask ourselves, why is it so hard to ask for help? And I think pride plays a bigger role than we want to admit to ourselves, especially for adults. We're taught, handle yourself, figure it out, don't bother people, don't look weak. So we convince ourselves, I'll get through it. But here's the problem. Everybody else is saying the exact same thing. Now you got two people struggling who both think they shouldn't reach out first. And the end result, both end up feeling alone. And sometimes asking for help feels like admitting failure. But what if asking for help is actually one of the strongest things you can do? Have you ever had one of those moments where someone asks, "How are you?" And without thinking, you automatically answer, "I'm good," even when you're absolutely not? We have gotten so used to giving automated answers that sometimes we stop checking in for ourselves. And I can honestly say that I am 100% guilty in doing every single thing. Because as much as I want to ask people how they're doing, and I want them to ask me the same question, I think realistically, we don't, because we don't want people to pry into our lives. And then I also believe that some people may have this perception of who you are, this strong-willed, independent individual that people like to brag and boast about to their friends and other people that they interact with. And sometimes I feel as if that pressure gets to people. It gets to me at times. And you just don't want to let people down. So instead of just telling people, hey, I'm going through this and it's tough, it's better to just have them live in whatever perception they have of you rather than basically being honest with them. Because you may feel they may look at you differently. And I honestly believe that people won't look at you differently. I know people won't look at me differently, but sometimes our mind plays tricks on us, and it can be our own worst enemy. So I believe once we understand that, I think the better we'll be at opening up to people to let people know that we need help just as much as they may need help when they have their issues. And the honest truth, nobody really prepared us for making friends after 30. And to be quite honest, making friends as adults is already awkward. Because when we're kids, you ask somebody, hey, you want to play some basketball? And now you're 35 thinking, I don't want to seem weird asking another grown man if they want to go on a lunch date. And I know I said lunch date, and that may sound pretty weird. But still, why is that weird? We normalize isolation. We admire independence. But we're starving for community. Real friendships, it takes the effort. And sometimes, you have to be the one to send that text, to make that phone call, plan dinner, checks in, because nobody cares, but everybody is overwhelmed. Now, the harsh reality is we need community more than we admit. One thing traveling has taught me, and trust me, I have traveled a lot, whether I was in another city or in another country, it is that people are not as different as we think. Everyone wants to belong somewhere. Everyone wants someone to remember their name. Everybody wants someone they can laugh with, they can call, they can genuinely ask, How are you? And wait for that real answer. Community isn't just about where you live. It is about what makes you feel seen. And by traveling, my experiences from traveling and seeing different cultures, it's definitely different, and it definitely broadened my horizon when it comes to the people who I see right here at home. Most cultures are close, tight-knit, express themselves, being able to help each other out. But I see that disconnect here, right in our backyard. And we're not different from each other. The harsh reality is that we need community more than we admit. The one thing travel has taught me, whether I was in another city or another country, is that people aren't as different as we think. Everybody wants to belong somewhere. Everybody wants someone who remembers their name. Everybody wants someone they can laugh with, someone they can call, someone who genuinely asks them, "How are you?" and waits for that real answer. Community isn't just about where you live, it's about who makes you feel seen. And trust me, guys, y'all know I travel a lot. And with different cultures, I've seen differences from people in my own backyard to people who I've seen in different countries. And I've seen, whether it's friendship, whether it's family, I've seen the togetherness and the closeness that individuals have with one another. Now, obviously, there are still the same similarities of work hard, you gotta hump and you gotta grind. But I see that in different cultures, people are open and able to express themselves within their culture and within their community and within their circle. And I think that there is a huge disconnect in our backyard when it pertains to that. Because, again, we grew up with, whether it's our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, friends that we know since elementary school, middle school, high school, that we're still friends to this day. And I think that the issue when it comes to us is that we don't want people to look at us in a different light. So I think our main problem is our image, or the image people have of us, to where we don't want to let people down. So instead of letting people down, we choose to be silent and we choose to feel alone. And again, that doesn't make any sense to do that, but it's still common. So I want you to think about this. When was the last time you had a conversation that was not about work? Not about bills that are due or bills that are past due. Not about you running errands to the store, to Target. Not responsibilities. Just about life. These conversations matter more than we realize, especially in adulthood. Now, I want each and every one of you that is watching this podcast to be the person who reaches out. Because maybe this episode isn't for the lonely person. Maybe it's for that one friend who hasn't texted somebody in 6 months. And maybe somebody crossed your mind listening today. Don't ignore that thought. Shoot that text out. Make that phone call. Invite them out to lunch. Yes, invite them out to a lunch date. Tell them that you've been thinking about them. Because you never know what someone is carrying at that particular moment. And if you're that person who feels alone, I really want you to hear this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with needing people. Again, there is absolutely nothing wrong with needing people. Human beings were never designed to live life completely alone. Strength isn't pretending that you don't need anyone. Strength is having the courage to let somebody in. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Don't wait until life falls apart to build relationships. Build them while life is good. Because one day, those relationships might be the very thing that carries you through your difficult season. And if today conversation resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment on Spotify. Send me a message on all of my social media accounts. Or share this episode with somebody you may believe may need to hear this today. And here's a question I'd like to leave you for you just to think about this week. Who have you been meaning to reach out to, but you haven't? Again, don't wait. Send that text. Make that call. You have to be the person to make that first step, because you never know how much it might mean. Thank you for spending time with me. And again, remember this. Titles tell people what you do. Stories tell people who you are. This right here is Beyond the Office. And y'all already know impact starts with insight. Until next time.